Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today voices Knull in Marvel Rivals, one of my favorite video games, the God of the Symbiotes. He's finally coming. I'm so excited to welcome Michael Scott. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. It's so exciting to be a part of the Marvel universe because number one, I'm a huge Marvel fan. So this opportunity is amazing to me.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's such a fun trailer that came out to tease the season that starts in just a few days from now.
Yes.
First of all, yes, congratulations on joining Marvel Rivals. But how does it feel to finally have that secret be out in the world and you don't have to like worry about accidentally telling people that you got this role?
Well, it's funny because as voice actors, well, as actors in general, we sign NDAs for those not familiar, non-disclosure agreements. So we work on these things. Sometimes it takes weeks, months, years, literally years to make things, especially if it involves motion capture where we put on a little suit and run around. So you sit on this and you know it's coming, but you can't say anything because you don't want to get fired. You don't want to get
Hmm.
replaced or recast because violating NDAs is so important. So I'm glad it's out, at least a little teaser trailer and all that kind of stuff. So that being said, there's certain things I can share, but we're July 11th is when it comes out. So certain things I may not be able to share. So I'm not dodging your questions.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't want to get fired.
no. It's all good. We will keep it all spoiler free and just keep it light and easy. What's the longest, if you can remember, the longest that you've had to wait from when you recorded lines for a role to when you were finally able to announce it?
Oh, lots of them because of the pandemic. I would say I'm in Resident Evil. That one took years. Oh man, so many of them take years, but I would say on average like 5 to 6 years. Some of them, and then it also depends on where you jump in the project. So, for example, sometimes you do dubbing, like on projects like I'm in Genshin Impact. I'm several characters in that game and like the game is already made, you're just kind of jumping in and putting the dialogue in English, right? Localization it's called. I like to teach people the voiceover ins and outs. A lot of people want to learn stuff. Anyways, it already exists, so it comes out faster because you're just putting English words in the content that exists. But if you're creating something brand new from scratch that never existed, it's a lot of behind the scenes with the development team, programming and animation and the motion capture and the dialogue and the writing and the rewriting and the recording and the recording. So like people maybe don't really understand. Video games are like magic. You push a button and somehow it knows exactly what to do when you want it to do it. Like my mind is blown working with the development teams. I'm also a director, so like seeing how everyone's mind works to like, oh yeah, we can get his wings to open like that and then flap like that and then fly off and like it's just like the most simple gestures take a lot of programming and I have no idea how that works, the 0 1 binary code, but somehow they're like, in the movies when there's like a hacker and they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. We can just make it okay, and now it works. So I just act and direct.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it blows my mind because growing up, I used to play like the N64 and the
Yeah.
original PlayStation, and there wasn't really online multiplayer stuff. Like when I wanted to play with friends, we would all go to each other's houses and like have four controllers plugged in. And now
Yep.
it's like, especially with a game like Marvel Rivals, you have people from all over the world playing together on different consoles
Yep.
playing together, and it's all happening live. And that just blows my mind that people in different time zones, different countries are playing and
Yeah.
interacting and it's like real time. I don't know how to do that, but it's so fun.
Yeah, it brings people together. It builds community internationally, as you mentioned. And I think the biggest shift is like when we were kids, I'm in my 40s. I'm probably older than you. But when I was a kid, video games were very linear. Like you started Mario Brothers at level 1 and you got to level 100 or whatever it was, and that was it. You couldn't even save the game. Like if you couldn't just play it, you're screwed, right?
Mhm.
But now you don't even have to do the missions in a lot of these games. You could be Spider-Man and just swing around New York having fun interacting with NPCs and not even do a mission and literally still have a good time. So it's like this circular shift in video game making where it's not just about completing the mission, it's about the experience, the interaction,
Mhm.
as you mentioned, the community, working with other people, building teams. And we kind of had that back in the day. I love the arcade games like the X-Men game, the
Oh
one
yeah.
with like, 4 players. Sometimes you could find one with like 6 players. And
Mhm.
like you would team up with random strangers, they would put their quarter in and you'd be like, all right, Cyclops, cover me over here. Wolverine, I got your back. Like you would build fun friendships with like people just from playing games. Now, obviously, like Street Fighter, you're fighting each other, it's competitive, but the cooperative games have always been my favorite because you become a team in real life as a result of the game.
Mhm. No, I loved those games growing up. By the way, I wasted so many quarters in the movie theater down the street from me when I was a kid playing. It was that one, like the side-scrolling Marvel one, and then there was The Simpsons. I forgot the name of it,
Yes,
but the
and the
Simpsons
Ninja
one.
Turtles one.
Oh
There's a bunch of them,
yeah.
and they even made an Avengers one too. There's so many of those little co-op games that were just so like classically embedded in my mind. Like Colossus just being like, like
Oh,
anyway,
so fun.
I digress.
Well, getting back to the teaser trailer that was released, I guess like last week at this point,
Yeah.
what was your reaction to finally getting to hear your voice with Null and the finished product, like seeing it and it's out for the whole world to see?
It's so exciting because everyone just randomly reaches out to you, whether it's like a random stranger to like, people I've known since elementary school. And so that's a really cool feeling that it's because it's Marvel, it's
Yeah.
something huge, it's something big. So it was amazing to hear it because when you record it, you just get your lines. And this one was unique because they kind of put some of it together in the session for the trailer specifically. So meaning normally you just record your lines, you go on about your business. But this one they actually like had me say some stuff and they're like,
Mhm.
let's see how that works. And then they put it to picture. So I kind of knew what was coming. And they're like, okay, well, let's see if this works. And then it's all timing, like, okay, that doesn't fit. We really love this, but it doesn't fit. So we're going to change it to that. But to see it like final was like, oh, that's me. That's me. And I'll share this before we move on. The
Huh.
biggest moment for me was when my voice came over when it said like the Marvel caption, it's like Marvel
Oh.
games and it's like to me, my queen in black. And it was just like the Marvel little cinema thingy he's playing is like me on a Marvel trailer. Like this is a dream come true. It's very, very, very exciting for me.
Oh, that is awesome. How did you get the role of Null in Marvel Rivals? Was that a character that you auditioned for specifically, or how did that come about?
Yeah, what happens is the bigger roles come from agents. For those that want to get into voice acting, there's things called pay to plays, things like that, where they send out auditions if you're on the website and things like that. So every once in a while, roles come about like this, but specifically this role came from an agency. And then I auditioned for it and I submitted it in, and then you just submit it and forget it. You hope you do it. So they give you the option to do, you could just do one take or two. I did two. I usually do two as long as I have the time. And they had to be different, very, very different. So I had different mindsets. And so my first inclination was to blend the villain Apocalypse from the old school
Oh,
X-Men. And he like lives rent free in my head. I love Apocalypse. But like there's this line where he's like, I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you. And it was like the arrogance of him, like the power, like bitch, you ain't nothing, like the humans are here, like mutants are here, but I'm here, kind of thing. And so because Noel is a god, I wanted to come with that approach, like all of you are so insignificant to me. So I blended a little bit of that and deepened the voice. And then because he kind of looks like a vampire Dracula, like I wanted to give it that dark depth. So I played with two options. One where it was just like omnipotent, like he's so unbothered by everyone because he's so powerful. And then one with a little bit more rage and intensity. And the end product was they kind of blended both takes.
that is so cool. I would love to eventually I there's so many things I want from Marvel Rivals other than the actual game. I want like a behind the scenes making of documentary where it's everyone's auditions. And I've mentioned, because I've interviewed a lot of the voice actors for the game, I've mentioned I love the animation style in these like teasers they put out and these cutscenes they put out. Disney Plus, they're always looking for new shows.
Yeah.
perfect way to blend, Disney Plus and Marvel Rivals would be a series and have everyone come back and voice their characters, and then it ties into what the season is of the game. There's so many things that I
Yeah.
want.
I first off, I love that idea. I've had this conversation many times in the voiceover community because everyone loves the behind the scenes, right? So like if you're Tom Hanks making behind the scenes of Toy Story, everyone loves that, right? They eat it up. But like it's almost like reserved for celebrities because normal people, normal voice actors, we're not really supposed to like record ourselves. I did get some behind the scenes from this studio because I know at this point in my career, like I'm not allowed to post it or say anything about it until it comes out. So I try to record like a little bit of the behind the scenes. But typically in a new studio, they don't allow you to do that. They say you can't bring your camera, your phone in because, of leaks and the trust
Yeah.
issue. But I agree with you so much, like seeing how the behind the scenes comes together, how you work together to craft a character. So the director from Bright Skull, also named Michael, he has ideas, right? And then I have ideas. And then in my ears, the development team from Marvel Games, Dakota, who's the lead on that side. So like he has ideas. So like we're playing with it and like, ooh, I like that. Or can you try it like this? Or let's go, a little more aggressive there or like more casual there. So like in the session, you're crafting the character live. And
Mhm.
that doesn't get, shared because it's so private. Like I can't even say what genre I'm in or anything until it comes out. So
Right.
I would love an animated series for this just
Oh
because
my God.
it's already there. The content's already
Yep.
there. The animation's already like the voices, like everything is done. All you could literally just tell the game story in an animated format because a lot of people either don't have the skill or the time to play the actual game, right? So they're
Right.
missing out on this very unique storyline, this beautiful interpretation of the Marvel universe,
Mhm.
which really obviously rivals like his own universe now. Um, to put that to an animated series, which shared with a wider audience, and then boom, now you got more players because they're like, I love this show. Where does this come from? I'm sure like The Last of Us got more players
Yeah,
because of the
definitely.
show, right? Like people who had never heard of The Last of Us, like this show is fire. How do I, get more? And so I agree with you completely. I'm obviously biased, but no, as both a fan and an actor, I would love to see this show come to life.
Yeah. Oh man, that is definitely on my wish list. So, are you currently a player? Did you already start playing the game and familiarize yourself with the different characters and the mechanics and everything?
Yes. So I started playing when the auditions first started coming out because I like to
Mm.
be better understand what's going on. I won't say I'm the greatest player, so like don't come for me online, but I I have played and I understand and definitely Wolverine has always been one of my all-time favorite characters.
Ooh. All right, all right. When you play, what console do you play on? Are you a PC guy? Do you play on the Xbox?
So I have Xbox because I'm terrible with PC controls.
Yeah.
Like I have to have a physical controller. Like it amazes me how some people are again like rah, 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 rah. Like I am of the generation where you had to have a controller in your hand or an arcade
Mhm.
stick. But yeah, the PC doesn't do it for me, man.
It's so interesting. I think it's like a generational thing. I think people I talk to who grew up in like the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
they're all used to playing with the controller in their hand. And
Yep.
then anyone I would say like in the 2000s and on, they grew up playing on the PC. So it's just so interesting. I am
Yeah.
not good at all on a
You
PC,
will
but I
kill
can
me
play really
real
well on an
quick on
Xbox.
a yeah, exactly. You will kill me real quick on a PC. It's
Yeah.
I tried when like Call of Duty kind of moved to some of that and what was it? Halo
Oh yeah.
back in the day and it wasn't the same.
Mhm. So we both have touched a little bit on the character of Knull, but there might be some people who this is their first experience hearing about the character, and that's one of the things I love about the game of Marvel Rivals. They did this with like Jeff the Land Shark. They've talked about
Yeah.
how they have access to 85 years of history, and they're going to start bringing in characters from all over the place. So for people who are just now hearing about Knull for the first time with this season, how would you describe the character?
Yeah, in the Marvel universe, there's always these different levels of characters of heroes, right? You might have street level heroes like your Luke Cage, your Daredevil, stuff like that, and then you might have like the bigger, like characters that are in the Avengers. But then you have these cosmic characters and cosmic entities, and Noel is just that. He is the epitome of darkness, the God, the Lord of darkness, and he was just chilling, minding his own business. enjoying the void, living his best life, and then all of a sudden, people come in trying to change it and bring light, and so that's really the storyline of Knull and the Phoenix in this particular season is that
Mhm.
it's light versus darkness. To not get into all the geeky Marvel stuff that I love and know, it's basically a story between light and dark, and Knull essentially wants to rule over darkness and return to this void, this time before the universe existed, where it was peaceful and quiet. There weren't all these heroes and humans and creatures running around doing all this stuff. That's his vibe, that's his goal. So essentially, to achieve that goal, he utilizes the symbiotes. Everyone's pretty familiar with Venom and Spider-Man, of course, at this point. But like, where did that come from? It's Knull. Knull is the king of symbiotes and sends them around the universe to do his bidding, and he has a connection to them, so he understands he can, manipulate them, do all those things. But of course, Venom is the exception to that. Like Venom is fighting him on it, and therein is where the drama lies. But essentially, Knull wants to return the universe to darkness. Hopefully, that covers it quickly and efficiently.
And that would be something perfect to play out in a series on Disney Plus. For anyone watching this that has any kind of power to make this happen, I want it so bad.
Yes, yes, and a lot of people know Thanos, right? Because of the
Mhm.
movies. Knull is more powerful than Thanos.
Ooh. All
Mm.
right, all right. That's a good thing to keep in mind. So when you got this role, did you go out to your local comic book store and start stocking up on comic books, or what kind of research did you do for this?
Oh, luckily, Marvel Rivals is so huge. The deep dive is not hard. You could literally Google, Marvel Rivals and understand. So it's layers, right? I need to understand Rivals and the style of the game because it's different
Mhm.
than other Marvel games. Even all of them are different. So it's one understanding of the technical, and like I said, I had played the game, so I had already had some of that knowledge.
Mhm.
But then knowing the seasons and the storyline and the arc, and then I found on YouTube. YouTube is like the greatest. I don't
Yeah.
know if you're watching this on YouTube, but um, I found this literally was like an hour and a half of the entire history of Knull from like creation to end. And so it was really interesting because even as a Marvel fan, there's no way to know everything about everybody and every character and every
Right.
universe. And then even then there's multiverses. So you might be an expert on this version of Doctor Strange, but what about this one and this Spider-Man? So anyways, I deep dived this great hour of content that covered Knull both from the comic books, and if you've ever seen Venom: The Last Dance, the final Venom movie that just came out, where Knull is the main villain in that, so it covered that and everything in between. But I love it because at the core of it, I'm a comic book fan, and it told the written story of how he came about and all that. Because as we know, it kind of changes from movie, TV, film, and then obviously even video games. But the comic book for me is the baseline of the lore.
Mhm. Completely agree. Have you had a chance yet to get any merch with Null? I did a quick Google search. I saw there's a really cool, it's a Hasbro Marvel Legends figure. It is so cool looking. And then there's already a ton of t-shirts with him, which I did not expect t-shirts already.
I
So
need
if you
it.
haven't yet, I would say you definitely got to check it out because the
I didn't know
figure
that.
itself is incredible.
You know what's crazy? The reactions you would ask about that. Like, people are very attracted to Noel. They're like, whether it's the voice or like the artwork, right? Because it takes a team to build the whole universe. But like, many of the comments are people like intimately attracted to
Oh
Noel,
my gosh,
which is
that's
very
hilarious.
interesting.
Yeah.
I would not have thought that, right? Like you would think traditional, like, oh, he's the villain, he's the bad guy, everyone's gonna hate him. But like, people love the
That
villain.
is so funny. You know what I just saw? The latest season had a Magneto skin. There was like an event, like a week-long event, and you could unlock a Magneto, and he has some thighs showing. And he's an older gentleman.
Yeah,
And I
man.
saw a lot of people on Twitter that were thirsting over Magneto, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never really, thought people would
Yeah,
would find
what
Magneto like that. So it
like
was really
sexy?
funny.
Like people want to have Noel's baby, and they put it in the comments proudly. Like,
Oh my gosh.
so that surprised me, but hey, I'm here for it. Like if whatever love you have for the character, the more love that the fans have, as you know, everything is fan driven. Like if people hate him,
Mhm.
he's out. But if people love him, then they want to see more, and it's more opportunity to grow the character and tell those stories, which is really my goal as an actor is to tell stories, to build characters, and to
Mhm.
do it for Marvel is a dream come true.
Oh, so cool. So when I first reached out to you, you had mentioned some of your friends are already also voices in this game. I think Jordan, who voices Adam Warlock, was one of them. Daniel, who voices Namor. Uh, they are constantly doing like signings and appearances and meeting up with cosplayers. Is that something that you're looking forward to doing as well?
Oh yeah. My short origin story is my journey started at Comic-Con. I was at an event doing some voices, and long story short, I met an agent, Alyssa Gentile. I always give her credit because she started my career and helped me network and mentored me and guided me and all that stuff. So my career started at Comic-Con, and I'm grateful to say this year, 2025, I am speaking at Comic-Con,
Oh.
and it's full circle for me because I had gone to Comic Con for maybe 15 years before all of this happened. So
Mhm.
before any of the acting, directing, cool stuff, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this art. I'm a fan of this storyline. I'm a huge fan of Stan Lee. Got to hang out with him several times over the years. God rest his soul, because he created something that was life changing and impactful, legendary, that will last long beyond his lifetime or any of ours, because these heroes resonate with people. And so that was a long answer to say yes. I'm all for traveling and going to conventions and signing and doing all that because I am a fan.
Mhm.
Like it's crazy. Like even since this, like the people wanting your autograph and taking pictures with you and all that kind of stuff. Like it. I never got into this to be like a celebrity. My goal was just I love acting, like to make a living and get paid to act. So that was never the goal. But it's more important to me that people appreciate the work and that they love it. They're like come up and tell you stories about it. Not just this character, but obviously others, but like the impact that you have behind the scenes was the same I had as a kid. Superheroes influenced my life. They made me who I am. So to be at the generation that gets to do that for others is truly a gift.
Oh, yeah, that's incredible. I have a feeling that there's going to be some people who are watching this interview right now, and they themselves are interested in becoming a voice actor. If there's someone who's just starting out or just, getting interested in this, what advice would you give to them?
So there's first off tons of free resources online, like, I want to be a voiceactor.com kind of stuff. D Bradley Break D Bad I can't even talk right now. D Bradley Baker.
It's a tough one.
I know, right? Tongue twister, right? Anyways, there's tons of free resources out there. So I would start there because at the end of the day, you don't want to get taken. You don't want to get come to this voiceover conference this weekend and get a demo and learn all this stuff or whatever. There are a lot of scams out there, people that try to sell you, the dream, and they're just going to make a profit and run off with it. So my recommendation is make sure that it's a legit existing conference or person that's teaching you or guiding you. Some examples, JMC Demos produces these conferences around the world, really, that are everywhere from Europe to Atlanta and Dallas. There's one, the Mid Atlantic Voiceover Conference in the DC area. There's That's Voiceover, which is usually in the LA or the New York area. So Voiceover Atlanta, One Voice, like conferences that are legit. And why I recommend the conferences, one, it shows you're serious about doing it. Ever since I've been doing this, I have friends that I've known for years or random people, like whenever I announce something like, oh, I want to be a voice actor all of a sudden. But like there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Be a good actor, learning improv skills, learning mic techniques,
Mhm.
networking, the business, the marketing. The end of the day, you need someone that you can trust to mentor and guide you through these things, and you can find that at the conferences. Those are the best place to get the most bang for your buck because you will learn all the genres, whether you want to work in animation, film, commercials, automotive, e-learning, audiobooks. There's so many like subcategories even within the categories. So you learn from professional experts that are actually doing this stuff. So it's not like, well, in theory, you want to no, like, no, I was just in this show or this movie or this whatever, and I did this. I just did this anime. This is how you dub. This is the proof, my credit. And so I think getting real life training from
Mhm.
people who are really doing the stuff is critical.
No, and that is great advice. And I encourage everyone who is because I've had a lot of people reach out to me watching all these Marvel Rival interviews, and I encourage everybody, even if you're just a tiny bit interested, check it out because you never know, just being passionate and trying new things. One day you could be in a Marvel video game as well, right?
Yes.
Right?
Why not me? That's what I always say. Like, why not me? I always want to, like, I'll see people doing stuff. I'm like, I want to do that. Why not me? It's like, it all takes just one step. Like,
Mhm.
you have to do something. You can't be that person that's always like, oh, I don't want to do that. I wish it's so hard. Like, no, you gotta like do it. Like action. That's part of why it became my stage name, Michael Scott Action, because I really believe like you can't just dream. Like it's dream, believe, achieve. Like you have to have actionable steps each way. Like, all right, I want to be a voice actor. Well, it's acting, so I should take acting classes.
Mhm.
Everyone wants to be an overnight success and just like
Right.
jump in. But like even if you met an agent or a casting director or whatever and they gave you the opportunity of a lifetime, if you're not prepared, it doesn't matter because you're gonna suck. And everyone, even if you are a natural, you have natural gift and talents, you won't understand the jargon, the professionalism, the certain things that happen to make enhance your performance. So you have to have the skills. Is when skills meet opportunity, right?
Mhm.
That you have those chances to really make your dreams come true. But it all starts with one thing: action.
Yes, completely agree. Well, Michael, you mentioned you'll be speaking at San Diego Comic-Con. If people want to keep up with all your other upcoming, projects and appearances, where's a good place for people to come and follow you?
So the best place I'm mostly on Instagram is at Michael Scott Action. At Michael Scott Action. And the reason for that, if you Google Michael Scott, I'm
Yeah.
sure you'll get a ton of Steve Carell in the office and all that. And I've lost a lot of my credits because they've gone to other Michael Scotts. I used to be real Michael Scott, and that didn't work out because the production people would drop the reel. And anyways, even when I'm on camera, sometimes my credits go to other people. So that's been a challenge in my career. So now I'm Michael Scott Action because I believe action drives everything. I also my website michaelscottaction.com, but yeah, Instagram, Facebook is what I use most. Also LinkedIn, they're all the same at Michael Scott Action.
All right, I'll make sure to put some links in the description of this video so everyone can come and follow you on Instagram and check out your website. But Michael, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. I really appreciate it, and congratulations again on joining Marvel Rivals.
Thank you, and thank you for taking time to interview me and other people because I at the end of the day, like you're doing this because you're passionate about it and you're doing something like you're making it happen and I love people that are creatives in their own right and like you know what I'm just gonna why not me why not do this interview like why not highlight things I love because it helps it grow bigger and wider. And so same thing, it works both ways because we're both creatives. I'll tag you and put you in all the things like anything I can do to help you boost your audience because you're worth listening to.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Michael. That means a lot to me. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. I'll
Bye.
see you out in these streets.